4 tornado emergencies in a single day, the most the Deep South has seen since 2023. 2 of those tornadoes were likely EF3 or stronger, and they both came from the same supercell. That supercell stayed on the ground, rotating for 1.5 hours straight before weakening. El Niño sea temperatures just rose 1 full degree Celsius in a single month off the charts. Stay with me through the 7-minute mark, because that is when the El Niño piece gets genuinely alarming. And if you make it to the end, the Amarillo temperature number I have will make your jaw drop. All right, let's get into it, y'all. The severe weather from this week is not done yet. A tornado watch is still active this morning for parts of southeastern Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and southwestern Georgia. The watch runs through 2 p.m. Eastern Coffee, Dale, Geneva, Henry, and Houston counties in Alabama are inside it. 13 Florida counties are covered from the western Panhandle through the Big Bend, Panama City, Tallahassee, and Wakulla County. And 17 counties in southwestern Georgia are in the watch: Doherty, Thomas, Colquitt, and the area around Valdosta. The Storm Prediction Center says today's threats include strong tornadoes, 70 miles per hour wind gusts, and large hail. This is mainly an early day threat. Your preparation window is right now. This morning, not tonight after dark. Tallahassee, Panama City, Jacksonville, Gainesville, you are near the watch zone and need to stay heads up today. The storm environment south of yesterday's track was never tapped out. These storms are starting fresh today. That is exactly why southern Georgia and the Panhandle are still capable of producing significant storms this morning. Earl from outside Brookhaven, today's severe weather risk is significantly lower than yesterday, but keep alerts on through noon. Now, the threat does not simply end when the watch expires, because heavy rainfall takes over through Thursday afternoon. The Weather Prediction Center upgraded to a moderate risk of excessive rainfall for a corridor including Meridian and Laurel, Mississippi. That moderate risk corridor stretches over toward Montgomery, Alabama, and this is the highest rainfall risk level issued today. A slight risk covers a larger zone. Chattanooga, Atlanta, Huntsville, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles are all inside it. Margaret from Montgomery, you are in the moderate risk zone, and the ground has no room for more water. Here's the maddening part: no joke, severe drought and flash flooding in the same states, same week. That is not a contradiction. That is exactly what a rapidly strengthening El Niño looks like from the ground. The drought monitor shows severe drought across Georgia, extreme drought in northern Florida and South Carolina's low country. 6 to 8 inches of total rainfall is possible across Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and Alabama through Mother's Day. Forecasters say even that estimate could be conservative in the most active rainfall corridors this week. Turn around, don't drown. Familiar roads can become deadly within 20 minutes on already saturated ground. The moderate risk of excessive rainfall also means flood watches could be upgraded to flood warnings quickly today. If you live near any creek drainage corridor or low-lying area in the moderate risk zone, know your exit route today. Cumulative rainfall totals from today's event plus Sunday's Mother's Day storms could push 6 to 8 inches in some corridors. That kind of total on ground that is already waterlogged from April is the exact scenario that produces historic flooding events. The Weather Prediction Center's excessive rainfall discussion is your single most important read every morning this week. Now, while the South deals with tornado watches and flooding, good Lord, Minnesota has a wildfire emergency this morning. A special weather statement runs through 8 p.m. CDT across 24 Minnesota counties. The hazard is wildfire, not storms. Bemidji, Fergus Falls, Detroit Lakes, Moorhead, Crookston, Roseau, and Bodette are all in the statement area today. Relative humidity is dropping to around 25% with northwest winds to 20 miles per hour. Fuel conditions are extremely dry. Any fire that ignites in these conditions can grow to a dangerous size within minutes, not an exaggeration. National fire danger is at preparedness level 2, and significant above normal fire potential is forecast across this region through May. If you are in northwestern Minnesota today, do not burn anything outdoors and report any smoke you see immediately. Out west, a cold front is sweeping southward through Colorado and New Mexico today, with gusts topping 50 miles per hour. Wind advisories and winter weather advisories are in effect from Grand Junction and Pueblo down through Santa Fe and Farmington. The Sangre de Cristo Mountains are looking at 6 to 10 more inches of snow above 9,500 feet through Friday. Denver picked up roughly 5 inches from this rare May snowstorm, more than the city saw all last season. Colorado and New Mexico mountain passes are dangerous today. Check road conditions before you drive any high-elevation corridor. Colorado's Rampart Range is under winter weather advisory, with 3 to 6 additional inches possible at elevation today. For Minnesota wildfire watchers, any outdoor burning permits are effectively suspended across the 24-county statement area today. If you see smoke anywhere near Bemidji, Moorhead, or Crookston today, call 911 immediately. Do not wait to confirm. Firefighters in this region are already stretched thin from earlier activity this month. Fast reporting saves lives and resources. Here's the thread that ties all of these alerts together: one root cause, one name, A Colorado snowstorm, Mississippi tornado emergencies, Minnesota wildfire danger, and a Florida tornado watch all in 24 hours. This is not a coincidence. It is El Niño, strengthening faster than almost any event on record. A massive upper-level trough is locked over the Great Lakes. Refusing to move this is a blocking pattern. That trough pulls warm Gulf air northward on one side while dragging cold Canadian air southward on the other. That collision zone, and y'all, this is important, is where every extreme event this week keeps firing. Bob from Indianapolis, I know this week's cold pattern has your area confused about whether spring is ever coming, but hang tight. The question everybody is asking is simple. When does this blocking pattern finally break and let spring return? The honest answer is not before mid-May at the earliest, and possibly not until the first week of June. Until that trough breaks down and moves out, the collision zone between Gulf moisture and Arctic air stays active. Every time that collision zone stays active, you have the ingredients for severe weather events like what happened yesterday. That is why meteorologists are using the word extraordinary to describe May 2026, because it genuinely is. And that collision is more violent than normal because of what is happening in the Pacific Ocean El Niño. This is the El Niño Connection honest to goodness, the most important weather story of the next 12 to 18 months. Sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific rose more than 1 full degree Celsius in just a single month. The last times this happened were 2015, 1997, and 1982, 3 of the 4 strongest El Niños ever recorded. Some current model guidance is projecting an El Niño that could rival or surpass all 3 of those historic events. El Niño activates the subtropical jet stream, a direct atmospheric highway between the warm Pacific and North America. That subtropical jet allows East Pacific moisture to curve back into the United States and onto every weather map. El Niño is amplifying storm fuel across the Deep South and fueling that rare Colorado May snowstorm all simultaneously. This El Niño is expected to peak during winter 2026 and remain in place through at least next spring. We are at the very beginning of 12 to 18 months of El Niño influence, nowhere near the end. The subtropical jet El Niño activates is already showing up as abnormal trough elongation toward the Baja California Peninsula. That elongation allows East Pacific moisture to recurve back into the U.S., not a typical early May pattern. Think of it as a moisture pipeline from the warm Pacific into the Gulf of Mexico, and the valve is opening. The pipeline is turning a standard spring system into a potentially record rainfall event across the Gulf states. Carol from Richmond, El Niño years run wetter than normal across the southeast through fall and winter. The mid-Atlantic winter precipitation pattern under a strong El Niño looks very different from what your region has seen recently. Now, the most visible El Niño impact you can see today is the heat building fast across the southwest. The Amarillo, Texas temperature story developing this week is one of the most dramatic numbers I have seen all spring. Amarillo's low temperature tomorrow morning, Thursday, May 8th, is forecast at 35 degrees Fahrenheit frost territory in the Panhandle. By next Tuesday, Amarillo is projected into the low 100s triple-digit heat in the same city the same week. Good Lord, 35 degrees Thursday morning to triple digits by Tuesday in the same Texas Panhandle city. That thermal whiplash is a textbook El Niño signature, cold blocking locked north. Heat dome building to the south. That West Texas heat expands eastward across the southern plains through the week of May 11th. When that expanding ridge collides with remnant Gulf moisture from this week's storms, you get the setup for another outbreak. Forecasters are watching May 18th through May 23rd as the most likely return of a large-scale severe weather pattern. The reason May 18th, 23 matters is that the western ridge will eventually force the trough to move east. When that happens, the collision zone shifts northward into the central and southern plains with fresh Gulf moisture underneath. That is the classic Great Plains severe weather setup, plain and simple. Western ridge pushing east into loaded air. Oklahoma City, Wichita, and Kansas City need to stay heads up through the third week of May. Sandra from Phoenix, record high temperatures are possible from California into the Four Corners region this weekend. Triple-digit heat will become the norm across the desert southwest for an extended period starting this weekend. Plan accordingly. Next week's threat shifts to the southern plains. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Springfield are my primary focus. Monday and Tuesday are the days to watch for Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas as a low develops over Colorado. If that system intensifies fast enough, Tuesday could be a significant severe weather day for Oklahoma and the southern plains. Next week's severe weather comes from Mesoscale, features small scale. Hard to forecast more than a day out. Dale Simmons from Kansas City, your region gets a meaningful warm-up this week with 70s and 80s returning. After weeks of jacket and May cold, the return of spring temperatures next week is going to feel like a different world. The frost threat is not done. Record cold lows are forecast for the Texas Panhandle tomorrow morning. Widespread 20s and 30s are forecast across Colorado, Minnesota, North Dakota, and Wisconsin tomorrow morning. By Mother's Day Sunday morning, patchy frost remains possible for North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Cover everything you planted this spring. Before Saturday night, the frost window arrives Sunday morning, and it is real. Mother's Day weekend is going to be unsettled from the Ohio Valley to the Gulf Coast. Plan outdoor events for the morning. Saturday looks mostly dry across the south before a new wave of showers and storms develops on Sunday ahead of another front. Sunday's system is the one to watch for flash flooding, especially in areas that picked up heavy rain from today's event. Florida residents, you get more of the moisture and severe weather risk through this weekend than the rest of the country. Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa all face a continued elevated rain chance through the weekend as Gulf moisture stays high. For the northeast coast, Boston, New York, and Philadelphia see more clouds and light rain late this week under the trough. The 30-day outlook through early June keeps northwest flow dominant across the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, and the entire Northeast. That keeps the northern tier on the cool, unsettled side of the weather pattern for most of the next month. Georgia, South Carolina, and northern Florida should start seeing above normal rainfall as the El Niño moisture tap opens. The El Niño moisture tap is turning on parched southeast soils are going to feel it through June. As drought relief arrives for the southeast, the southwest heat dome intensifies rapidly. Two extremes. Same week. Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Palm Springs are tracking toward record highs as early as this weekend. Frank from Phoenix, that means you. For residents across the entire desert, Southwest triple-digit heat is coming, and this heat dome is not letting up anytime soon. Heat index values in the desert Southwest could reach dangerous levels. Avoid outdoor activity during peak afternoon hours. The Sacramento Valley has a 60% chance of hitting 95 degrees this weekend, early summer territory in mid-May. Anybody heading to Las Vegas or the desert Southwest for outdoor events this weekend needs to take the heat seriously. Hydrate aggressively and stay out of direct sun from noon to 5 p.m. Dry desert heat hits harder than humid heat. The Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies stay dry under the ridge. Wildfire risk remains elevated through early summer. Here's the big picture flat out. This is one of the strangest May weather patterns in decades. A locked trough, a strengthening El Niño, and severe weather firing where it simply should not be in May. This pattern will not normalize quickly. Models show it persisting through at least mid-May before any shift. El Niño's influence is growing, reshaping your summer heat, winter storms, and everything in between for 18 months. Drop your city and state in the comments which part of this week's forecast concerns you most. Today's Tornado Watch, the flooding, Minnesota's wildfire, or the El Niño long range, which one concerns you most? I go through every comment and come back with specific updates for the areas I hear from most. If someone you care about is in the tornado watch zone across Alabama, Florida, or Georgia, send this now. A heads up from someone they trust before noon is worth far more than any push notification they will swipe away. Burn this into your memory: 4 tornado emergencies in one day, 1 full degree of El Niño warming in 1 month. A 65-degree temperature swing in Amarillo in 5 days. That is the scale of what this pattern is doing. Stay safe out there. Take care of the people around you. This week is not finished.